Weekly Announcements. I'm Luke Bobbitt.
And I'm Briley Beck. Off-season workouts for anybody interested in playing football next year will be on Mondays and Wednesdays from 7:15 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the gym. This starts on Monday, January 11th. This is only for athletes who are not currently playing basketball or wrestling.
Now here's Cooper Duckworth with an update on winter sports.
Thanks, guys. Your Joplin wrestling team have been taking care of business, and they look to continue their success tonight as they travel to Seneca. Pin to win, Eagles! Darian Guillory will compete in the Bass Pro TOC Dunk Contest on Saturday, January 16th at 6 p.m. at the JHQ Arena in Springfield. Head out there if you want to see some monster jams! Your girls return home tonight against Kennington and are looking to pick up a win. Ball on them, ladies! Ball on them! Your next boys' home basketball game is next Tuesday against Neosho. Let's get these W's, Eagles! Back to you.
Thanks, Cooper. Attention artists, are you needing more time to work on artwork, either for class or just for fun? Do you want to learn about drawing, painting, sculpture, or photography? You should check out Open Art Studio, which is held after school every Tuesday in room B201 and every Thursday in room B215. You don't have to currently be in an art class to attend. Now here's Amy and Max with a quick snack.
Today we'll be making granola bars. First, you'll need measuring cups and spoons, a big bowl, a pan, and a wooden spoon. You will also need oats, salt, peanut butter, honey, and dried fruit, chocolate, sliced almonds, and vanilla. First, get the bowl and the spoons in the measuring cups. Measure out 1 3/4 of oats, then 1 1/3 of almonds. Two-thirds of chocolate, and half a teaspoon of salt. 1 cup of peanut butter. Now in a separate bowl, get 1 cup of honey and 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla. Mix the drying liquids together, then add your dried fruit. We put 1 1/3 of dried cherries. Then you want to pat it into your pan until it's nice and flat. Then you'll freeze it for 2 hours. Now we're going to take them out of the freezer. Get them out of the pan and cut them into 1 by 3-inch bars. Then place and serve. This has been Maxine Hang and Amy Newendorf with JHD.
Thanks, guys. If you don't think you'll use what you're learning in high school after high school, think again. This next story, brought to you by Spencer Gibson and Cooper Duckworth, is about students who are using what they're learning out in the real world right now.
When you think of jobs for high schoolers, you think of minimum wage, entry-level jobs. 3 Joplin high school students are doing it different at a local news station.
I like doing film and film-related things, and when I got the offer, I just decided that it was the closest thing I could come to at my age.
Mr. Ward's class has prepared me in a lot of ways for working at a news station, mostly because I do work with cameras, and that's what I do in this class. And this broadcasting class is the news. We do the weekly announcements, which is like set up in that type of format, so it's prepared me a lot.
His class prepared me pretty well after 3 years of having him. I've learned how to run cameras, different camera shots. We're constantly learning new things all the time, even Mr. Ward himself. Lighting, how to be quick and prepared. Preparedness is always something that has to be done.
Mr. Ward's class helped me because it just made me prepare for all the shots that I would take. Made getting them a lot easier, and yeah.
What made me want to work for a news station was that I like cameras, and this is probably the best job I could have right now if I want to be in that field.
I'd say the best part of working there is it's a foot in the door to get into bigger things, hopefully maybe one day making my own movies or shows or working in Hollywood or working in TV in some way. And I also, with some of the people you meet there, could actually lead me into radio and all outlets of media.
The best part of working there is the people and doing what I love to do.
The best part about working at a news station is that it's not like your regular teenage job, and like you wouldn't think like a high schooler would be doing it. Like I got this job when I was 16. It was my first job ever, so I think that says enough for like why it's the best. And
You spend every day at school, so you might as well turn it into something you enjoy, or even possibly a job. I'm Cooper Duckworth with Jet HD.
Thanks, guys. Artwork from JHS students will be featured alongside other area schools in an annual K-12 art show at MSSU this weekend. The opening reception of this show is from 2 to 4 p.m. this Saturday in the art gallery on campus at MSSU. This show always draws a lot of attention, and you should definitely stop by and check out the work of our talented art students if you're able to.
In case you didn't know, the latest addition to the Star Wars franchise, The Force Awakens, came out over Christmas break. Now here's Dylan Noblet and Ian Bruton with their movie review.
Okay, skip it. We don't have a lot of time. Hi everyone, this is A+ Reviews, and today we're finally getting to The Force Awakens, directed by J.J. Abrams this time. That as of today has made $1.7 billion worldwide.
That's so much money. Alright, well let's get to the plot. It's been 30 years since Return of the Jedi, and the Rebels are still in trouble. Luke Skywalker is nowhere to be found, and the Rebels need him. The First Order, they're the bad guys this time around, need him as well. The Rebel they are after is Poe Dameron. Long story short, things don't go well for Poe, and he has to send a map to find Luke out on an astromech droid named BB-8 into the desert land of Jakku.
Hold on, that's just the plot of New Hope, just Jakku instead of Tatooine.
Okay.
Anyways, the droid comes across a young teen named Rey and befriends her. Later, they run into Finn, who is also on the run from the First Order, who also got help from Poe. And they take off in the legendary hunk-of-junk the Millennium Falcon. They escape and now must face off against the First Order and their sinister secret weapon. And that's about as far as we're going to go into the plot, since we are forbidden from talking about spoilers. So, let's get to the major point. Is this film good?
Yes, and it's a yes bigger than the Death Star. The acting is awesome and believable, and you can tell that everyone is having a great time. Abrams needs to be applauded for bringing back both regular film practical effects and to Star Wars. The design of the characters, their equipment, and everything around the film looks perfect and fits right into the Star Wars universe.
However, in my opinion, there's one weak link in this movie, and that is the antagonist, Kylo Ren. The major issue I have with him is that he stands out because he can't hold any dark presence. Say what you want about Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. When he is told to act with just his face, he can hold an intimidating presence. When Anakin became Vader, everyone was scared of him, his power, and that cold, dark look on his mask. With Kylo Ren, who takes off his mask way too much in my opinion, he is more like a bratty child, constantly throwing temper tantrums because he didn't get his way.
Ren is just a weaker villain, and that may be because Abrams is trying to set up a redemption storyline for him, but as of right now, there just isn't enough to go on about his character. And mind you that there are 2 more planned sequels, so this critique can change with time. As of right now, The Dark Knight Kylo Ren is this film's weak spot, bringing its grade down to a 98% A+.
I know a lot of people say that this film is terrific, but in my eyes it isn't. It's a lot better than, say, 3 movies that won't be named in the Star Wars franchise. Don't worry, you can guess which ones they are. But nonetheless, if you haven't seen this film yet, you need to. I'm Dylan Noblet.
And I'm Ian Bruton.
And class is dismissed.
Thanks, guys. The recent floods in the Joplin area were devastating, but for some students, it hit closer to home. Here's Mason Fennell with more on the story.
Today I set out to find students that have been affected by the flood that hit Joplin on December 27th.
On December 27th, Shoal Creek flooded and set a new record for reaching new heights. It was 23.5 feet above the creek's normal level.
On December 27th, Shoal Creek flooded, and it was huge. And a lot of places got damaged from the flood, and there was a lot more flooding than just Shoal Creek, but mostly it was Shoal Creek flooded.
I realized the water wasn't going to stop about mid-afternoon. I originally woke up at 7 just to call my work and tell them I wasn't going to show up because the water was in our lawn. And then I went back to sleep, woke up again, and saw that it was still all the way up now, close to like stone steps. And at that point, it was still raining, water was still flowing, so we knew it wasn't going to stop pretty soon.
It must have been like 2 to 3 hours into the storm because My house is really old, and if the storm is hard and it's not going to stop, and I realize that, our ceiling starts leaking on our front porch, and our outside walls, like, you know how there's 4 walls on each side, the outside walls, the outer corners of the walls, they start leaking as well.
I kind of got the idea that it was going to flood the day before when it was just raining, because our lawn was all flooded and we knew there was a lot of rain upriver from us, so we knew that the water was going to come up. We didn't know it was going to get so bad. But the time we knew it was going to get so bad is when firefighters came trekking through the woods to get to us and tell us we need to evacuate because they don't think it's going to stop, and there was a chance we were going to lose our home. At that point, we all got packed and we were ready to leave, but told ourselves we weren't going to leave until we knew we had to.
What scared me about the flood mostly was the fact that people wanted to go around and drive, and the flood water was really high and people were going to get stuck in there with their cars and stuff. And other things that scared me were like people were getting so much flood from the Shoal Creek, like people who live over there, they were getting so much flood damage that they had to go somewhere else because their house was just completely flooded.
While interviewing students, I found that they had a lot more respect for nature and Shoal Creek itself.
The aftermath of the flood was a lot of cleanup. We really lost only our shed, and our propane tank got dislocated. It floated in place and it completely was useless for a couple of days before we were able to get like a temporary line hooked back up and get heat into our house. The lawn to this day still is fairly soft and soggy and muddy. Most of our gravel on our driveway was moved around, so we have to get more of that. And all around the entire area looks devastated. Trees are pushed over, other ones are uprooted, and the water still looks a bit nasty and it's still flowing pretty dang fast.
Lots of trees that were missing because the flood water was really heavy, and there was bark everywhere and trash from trash cans and house debris.
With Jet HD, I'm Mason Fennell.
Students, don't forget to check your email daily. These have been your weekly announcements. Have a great week.